This one, it asks you, what's the topic?
Implicit differentiation.
Implicit differentiation. Okay. We need to do this. So if we have x squared plus xy equals 10, what do we turn it into? What does x squared turn into? 2x. And what rule do we need to use on the next part? Product rule. The derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second equals what? 0. What are we solving for?
Y prime.
Solving for y prime. So we know xy prime is equal to negative 2x minus y. So what does y prime equal? Negative 2x minus y over x. That's the same thing as dy dx, right? So what are you trying to do? We're trying to find this value when x is equal to 2, right?
Yeah.
When x is equal to 2, we need to know what y prime is when x is equal to 2, but to do that we also need to know what y equals, right?
Yeah.
To do that, I understand if you just say it over and over again, it doesn't help my cause, and that's why I told you originally to Do you understand now? When x is 2, what do you do with this? Plug it into the original equation. You end up with 4 plus 2y is equal to 10, so y is equal to 3. So you end up with y prime at 2, 3, which is going to be times 2 minus 3 all over, what's x? 2. So that's going to be negative 7 over 2. Is that one of the answers?
Yep.
Negative 7 over 2. People agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah? Does that make sense? So the key part here, let's just circle the key part, was right there. Okay, another of your... Simplify, exactly. So you end up with the integral from 1 to e of x dx minus the integral from 1 to e of what?
1 over x.
Dx, right? What's the integral of x? Squared from 1 to e, right? What about this one? What's the integral of 1 over x? Ln of x from 1 to e. So you just need to make sure you evaluate this properly. So it's going to be 1/2 e squared minus 1/2, right? Minus ln e minus ln 1. What's ln 1? 0. So you end up with 1/2 e squared minus 1/2 minus 1. So you end up with 1/2 e squared minus 3 over 2. What do we have for answers up here?
It's e squared over 2.
Yeah, it's e squared.
Yeah, it's e.
What's wrong?
It's nothing's wrong.
Nothing's wrong. Okay. 1/2 e squared.
The answer is e.
Oh, the answer is e. Oh, I'm sorry. The answer is e. Yeah, there it is. Awesome. What do you think the most common mistakes are in this? Be careful of the minus signs, right? Minus signs.
1 over x.
Yeah, you need to remember the integral of 1 over x is ln x.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do it as absolute value. That's fine. Okay. Easiest way is the derivative of a linear function is a constant. The derivative of a constant is 0. If you integrate at 0, you're going to end up with 0, right? On this one, in your head, you're like, oh, you're taking the integral of a second derivative, so it's going to be something with the derivative, right?
Yeah.
Correct? What's the derivative of what is the derivative? What's the slope from a to b of a constant function? 0. What's the slope of a constant function? 0. That's another way to think about it. Absolutely. What was the key for this one? FTC. The only thing that make it more complicated is to call it a capital F to begin with. Doesn't change anything. Okay, let's move on. Anybody else want to do another challenging one yet? Key to this one, do you think? What's the key to 16? What's the key to 16?
Chain rule.
It's the chain rule. Just be careful with your negative signs and the chain rule. Absolutely.